Hello, everybody. My name's Kay Gilbert, and I'm from the Tennis Parents Community, which is an award-winning support network of over 2,900 tennis parents whose children are playing tennis within the British system. We've come together via the group to learn from each other and to work out how we can best support our children in the sport. If you're a tennis parent based in the UK, do join us on Facebook. Just search for the Tennis Parents Community. You'll also find us on Instagram, and our YouTube channel is full of interesting recordings, helpful sessions like the one we're about to listen to today. So today I'm very pleased to be joined by Jess Bence. Jess works for the LTA in the delivery team, and that team is responsible for various projects, one of which is the LTA Awards. And today we're going to learn all about those LTA Awards. Well, welcome to you, Jess.
It's Kay, thanks for having me.
No problem. And perhaps you could start by telling us a bit about yourself. How did you get into being within your role in the LTA? What's your background in tennis?
So I'm very much one of those people that is, whether it's good or bad, I don't know. Tennis born and bred. I have played tennis my whole life. I started when I was 5. I grew up at a club in Berkshire, so Berkshire sort of my home county. Although I'm not based there now, but very much close to my heart. Played tennis all the way through from 5 up until I was about 15, and then very quickly got into coaching after that. So I loved giving back to the sport that sort of gave me such an amazing childhood, and sort of went into coaching, and that became my full-time job after that. And then I did that for nearly 10 years and then joined the LTA. So I've been here now just over 8 years. I've worked in sort of various teams, covering sort of competitions, coaching, and now sort of in my role looking after the awards and volunteers and some other bits and pieces as well. So yeah, very much tennis has been the heart of my life, really. It's been there the whole way through. So I love being able to continue to give back, and the awards is a great way for us to do that as well. So yeah.
That's amazing. And I think sometimes we can get very caught up in the world of our children, perhaps becoming pro players as the only way to monetize, if you like, or make a career out of being involved in tennis. But there's so many other pathways that people can take into the sport to carry on their passion through their job as well, isn't there?
Absolutely. And actually, considering how many tennis playing hours I've completed in my life, I don't actually play that much now. I think probably working in it, it's finding the balance between still loving playing, and actually when I do play, it's great, but I'm not sort of playing every single day like I was. I think coaching sort of took a lot out of me physically. And
Yes.
but when I step on court now, it's really fun. So it's really keeping the joy in it, and that's really important. So
people who stay in tennis sometimes talk about the fact they started their career when they were 5. It's
yeah.
not something you would normally imagine, but it's true, isn't it? Well, tell us all about the LTA Awards. That's what we're here to talk about today. How did they come about?
So we've just actually celebrated our 10th year of the LTA Awards, and the awards were brought in by our sort of former LTA President, Cathy Sabin, who introduced the awards really to try and give back and reward and recognise particularly our volunteer workforce. And as we know with tennis, particularly in the club space, our clubs are run and kept alive and kicking by volunteers. So she wanted to find a way that we could recognise the amazing work that goes on and keeps these clubs afloat and keeps them thriving, keeps surfaces and facilities up to scratch, and bring our fantastic coaches in and kind of making this really great community. She really wants to find a way to recognise them. So the awards were introduced to do that. And they've just gradually over the years got bigger and bigger. I've been involved with them now. This will be my sort of 3rd year. So we're always looking for ways that we can sort of transform it, make it better, reward more people, kind of really showcase the amazing things that are going on out in our tennis venues, whether that's a club, whether that's a park, whether that's a community leisure centre that actually they don't have tennis courts, but they're delivering tennis in some way. And we really want to be able to celebrate and say thank you to those people that are helping us grow the sport, really.
Well, what a great person Cathy was, and sadly lost to us now, but from Shropshire. And she was the reason that I got involved in tennis
Ah,
volunteering. I met her at an event and I was talking to her about wanting to give back, and she gave me a pathway that she thought that would be helpful for me, and it turned out to work very well. So I was really delighted to have had that experience because she had such an amazing energy and passion for tennis and wanted to really celebrate that. So good for her for setting up the awards. Can you possibly give us now a little bit of an overview about the structure, if you like? Because I know there's different elements, aren't there? There's a sort of county element and then a national element. How does that work?
so we very much want the awards to try and sort of stretch far and wide and be able to sort of touch as many tennis venues and the tennis workforce and as many people as we can. So it very much starts across the whole country, including Tennis Scotland and Tennis Wales, where we have a county sort of tier. So each county will run their own awards programme and therefore a presentation. So you would nominate whoever you might nominate, let's say a club, and that all that information comes into us and we filter that back out to the counties who then run their own selection process. So they'll have their own sort of judging panel. They take all their county nominations in together and select their winners. And the beauty of it is actually each county does it ever so slightly differently. So they follow the same structure of completing a judging panel and finding a winner in all the relevant categories that might suit them. But actually then they will celebrate those winners in very various different ways. So we have some that do a huge sort of parties, we have some that do sort of a barbecues, and we have sit down meals. There's all sorts of things that happen all across the country to create a bit of an event and a real celebration. Some people link it to their AGM as well, which I've seen a few times recently as well. So that sort of structure means that our bigger counties who, you know, they might have a lot more clubs and a lot more coaches and a lot more competitions, they can kind of celebrate in the way that's relevant to them. But actually our smaller counties can also create a really relevant celebration for them as well.
I know that some of the counties, obviously there's different types of communities, like you say, depending on how big the county is, but some of them even host I've seen where they host the event at the club of the year.
Yes.
Which I thought was a really nice idea, but others will have perhaps even a black tie event, or they might have an evening do, and other people will have some kind of fun festival type celebration. So lots of different flavors. And there are certain awards that aren't national level, aren't there? There are some that are just county level.
Yeah, so we have our sort of 14 categories that we have, which are the LTA categories, but we do encourage our counties to run their own categories as well. So we have certain counties that will do player of the year, they will do a young person of the year in different age brackets, team of the year, county cup squad of the year. There's loads, and I've seen lots of different things happening all across the country. And it really gives the sort of counties the ability to showcase the amazing talent in the sort of playing community, as well as in the sort of workforce and the venues that are sort of delivering tennis as well. So there's lots and lots out there, and it's definitely worth reaching out and having a look at what your relevant county does, because they are all ever so slightly different, and create a really relevant, relevant experience for the sort of landscape that they're in, which is really nice.
And from a parent's point of view, if you look at what your own local county is offering and you spot a gap, there's no reason why you shouldn't work with your county. They are, after all, mostly volunteers. And you can certainly influence, perhaps as a parent, what they add for the future. They may not have thought of having a young person's award, for example, in different age categories, or team of the year, that sort of thing. Those are the more likely to be local. But on a national level then, so there's the 14 categories. And once the county awards have been given or decided upon, those people all then go up to another selection tier, do they?
Yeah, so those winners will come back to us and they get submitted back to us. And it's worth noting that we have the 14 categories, but not every county will always sort of submit a winner or have a winner in every category if they don't get enough nominations. Or, for example, we have University of the Year, which every county simply doesn't have a university. So some of the categories do go straight sort of to the national judging panel, which I can come on to in a little bit. But the county winners will all come back to us, and they come to a shortlisting panel, which is made up from sort of subject matter experts in each category. to sort of whittle them down. And that's quite a tough job because we can have up to 40 winners, particularly in the categories like Club of the Year and Coach of the Year, which are very, very sort of very popular. They sort of whittle them down, and then they go to the national judging panel, which is made up from a huge mix of people from previous award winners to we've had sort of politicians, we have all sorts of people from the tennis community all across the board that decide our overall winner and our other national finalists who come to the national ceremony. And then we try to select up to 5 sort of highly commended sort of winners and recipients as well, because we really want people to feel part of this. And actually, you know, we have over 2,000 nominations that come through every year. To get from 2,000 to 1 is really tough, and there's some amazing things that are going on out in the tennis world. So we want to try and celebrate as many as we can, and by bringing in our excellent sort of highly commended awards, which we did last year, we were able to recognise far more people and really stretch the reach and say thank you much more broadly, which was great.
So from we'll talk in a minute about what makes a good application, but first of all, who can nominate? Because sometimes we think about we have to vote for somebody to win, don't we? But that's not the case in these awards, is it? It's more about the nomination. Who can actually put in a nomination?
Absolutely anybody can nominate, and you can nominate absolutely anybody else. You can even nominate yourself if that's what you want to do. We do see that quite often. Someone's actually really proud of what they've done and what they've achieved, and sometimes they can tell the best story about what they've done as well, because it's very easy for you to sort of see something good and nominate it. That's quite easy. You go, they've done a great job, I'll give them a pat on the back and fill in a nomination. But actually sometimes the people that have done the work, it takes a few people to work together to kind of cover all the facts and put as much in. I know we'll come on to what makes a good nomination, but yeah, so anybody can nominate, and anybody can nominate in any of the categories. All the criteria is sort of set out, and you can sort of find the right category that's right for you. But yeah, in terms of sort of what's probably the most relevant is looking at what in your child's life, who are the people and what are the things that kind of make that a success. So is it a tennis coach that's done a fantastic job of developing not only your child, but actually maybe a group of children, or actually they do a great job of just creating a really safe and fun environment in their venue? Is it actually that the venue and the coach work really well together and you could kind of celebrate them more broadly? Have you had a really great experience at a competition and actually you and your child just thought that was the best tournament that you've ever been to, and you'd want to go back year on year? Or is it the person that created that competition experience? So is it the official, whether that's the referee or a really good court supervisor that just created a really, again, a safe and fun and enjoyable experience for you and your children? I think is hugely important, and this is a great opportunity to kind of say to them thank you. And I think sometimes it's actually the most powerful when it comes from a parent or from a child or whoever that might be.
So you nominate online. That's the process. Yeah. That's online, and it's fairly easy to do, isn't it? It's not too arduous. I think the maximum number of words even that you're allowed to submit is 500, which isn't too many. But even if it's just 100, I sometimes feel like you've made somebody's day by nominating them, because they will get told that you've nominated them.
Yeah.
I don't know how much anonymity there is around the process. Is it all transparent, or is that something?
Yeah. So when you complete a nomination, we ask for the nominator detail. So yeah, your name, your email address, so we can communicate with you going forwards if we maybe need more information, or the county might want to dig a little bit deeper and say, oh, actually, this is really close, but maybe there's a few things missing. So yeah, we ask for that information, and then the nominee. So we do ask that you sort of have permission from the nominee to pass on the contact details, because obviously if they're then successful, we like to communicate with them and say congratulations, and also let them know that they might have won some Wimbledon tickets or prizes, and invite them to sort of the next part of the journey and the next part of the experience. So we do ask for all that information on the nomination form, and then it is very simply tell us the story, if you can, in up to 500 words, which sounds like a lot, but once you're going and you're sort of telling us a bit about, you know, your coach or the competition you went to, it does fill quite quickly. But we just sort of ask for as much detail and stats, particularly if it's, you know, around a club. We want to kind of know, you know, if a club grew their membership, we'd like to know by how much, just so we can really sort of put a bit more, we've got enough information to kind of make those really tough decisions then when it comes to particularly the national judging panel right at the end. It can really come down to the detail. So yeah, we just ask for as much information as we can get, but without asking you to write an absolute essay, because that obviously is quite tiresome.
What you said there, it sounds like if you're not too sure about many details, I mean, you could still tell the person you're going to nominate them, probably make their day, and then fill in the form. And then if it gets to the county and the county perhaps see that that person's been nominated twice for different things, they can put them together.
Yeah.
Or if they see that you've nominated, but they don't really understand perhaps what you've written, they can come back to you to just get some more information, just to plump up the nomination a little bit. So that it does go forward beyond county. It's got a better chance of being the total story and not just one piece. But I don't think that should put anyone off nominating someone, should it? It's still a really great thing to do. Like I say, even if it just makes someone's day, that it's great that you've put that effort and time into that.
Absolutely. And I think that obviously the awards is great, and, you know, being able to get a trophy and your certificate and your Wimbledon tickets, but actually I think sometimes for that person to just receive that surprise nomination is almost the most powerful part of all of it, whether it's from a parent. I think when I was coaching, as soon as you get that email or that text that came in to be like, thank you so much for everything you've done this, whether it's this year or this week, or we had a really great tournament result, those messages mean more than anything. So actually I think it's really powerful, even if you've just got a few things to say and you want to tell that person that you think they're doing a great job, even if it's in 2 or 3 lines, that's a really nice thing. But obviously if you're thinking long term and you want it to go, really want them to try and be recognised further, then the more detail you can have, the better.
So just run through again which of the awards you think are most relevant to tennis parents. There's obviously the coach, isn't there? But there are 2 coaching awards, aren't there? The official and the young person, is that right? Or something similar?
Yeah, so we have two coaching categories, one being Coach of the Year and one being Performance Coach of the Year. So depending on what sort of space your children are playing in, or whether you think the coach that you have or the coach that's involved in your child's life, you've kind of got 2 options to go down. And we really wanted to make sure that actually, just because, you know, quite often performance can be seen as the only way to see results, but actually we've had some incredible coaches that work with young people and children that aren't actually competing, but they're doing a fantastic job of creating really good community and, you know, in their venues. We wanted to make sure we recognise them as well. So we've got those 2 categories. Then we have the sort of competition facing category. So we have Competition of the Year, which is for the actual event. And that can be anything from a 1-day tournament, from a week-long grade 3. We've had leagues that win, actually, you know, whether that be a national league in a county or whether that be a sort of more local league that might happen between a few clubs. We've had all sorts of competitions, and I find that one almost one of the most interesting, because there's so many amazing things that go on out there that sometimes they don't think it's amazing because it's just part of what they do, but when we then hear about them, it's great. And then we have the Official of the Year. So obviously that's linked very closely to the competition, because they're the ones that sort of pull all the bits together and make that really great experience for the players, for the parents as well, for coaches. So Official of the Year covers everything from referees, competition organisers, line judges, chair umpires. We've had it all. So if there is somebody that really stands out that you think's done a fantastic job, that's worth considering. And then we have our sort of Young Person of the Year, which is something I'm super passionate about. We have so many. I know obviously we're sort of, from a parent's perspective, we're talking a lot about playing. But I know a lot of the parents and young people will start to get involved in maybe helping with the younger kids in their venues. So whether that be helping with coaching or helping with fun days. The Young Person of the Year category really is there to celebrate those young people that are volunteering mostly, but also getting involved in maybe coaching, getting involved in helping with competitions, or just volunteering in their venue. I know you've spoken recently with our safeguarding team around the Young Person's Welfare Ambassador programme. We've had a lot of people that come through and that get nominated for the fantastic work they do in that space. So if you think you've got a young person that deserves a bit of recognition for just doing something a bit different. That category is a very sort of, it's very powerful to read some of the amazing things that young people are doing, even from the age of sort of 14 up to 24 is the top end of that. So it's quite a broad spectrum, but we wanted to make sure that we're covering a lot of what young people are doing, even when they go off to university, and they might be volunteering when they're there as well. So yeah, those are probably the most relevant ones, as well as we have a Club of the Year, Park of the Year. We've got a new Sustainability Award this year as well. So if you've got a venue that's doing some really innovative things in that space, we want to try and celebrate them as well.
And young person is defined as how young?
14 to 24 is the window.
That's quite a
yeah.
lot. So presumably something great for the child to receive, but also fantastic for their perhaps UCAS application form, or
absolutely
Edinburgh stuff, or whatever it is. And obviously there's tennis leaders, isn't there, which is probably a topic for another day in detail, but some of the kids will have taken their tennis leaders qualification, or even their level 1 at that age, and be helping within the coaching program or doing other volunteering within the club. Okay, so let's just quickly run through what makes a good application then. What because we've touched on it briefly in various ways, but can you nail that for us?
So I think a really good application tells a story of what that person or that place have done, and what that's the impact of what that is. So I mentioned earlier about stats, and although that probably isn't the most fun thing to always write about, it is really powerful. So whether that is, you know, growing a coaching program from 10 children to 100 in a year, that's huge. Or whether that is working with, you know, your son or daughter, and actually they've gone from this ranking to this ranking, that's something that could be considered as a stat as well. But as much detail as you can provide in telling the story of what sort of journey that person has been on. So whether it's, you know, they might have been coaching for 10 years, they might have been volunteering for 20 years, but actually in the last year, this is what they've shown. And that's really relevant as well. We want this to try and be as relevant as it can be to the last year. You know, we run our awards annually, and we do have certain categories that do span sort of long tenure, like our lifetime achievement and things like that. But we want to try and think, what has that person done in the last year that we really want to celebrate them for? So
and that last year is, in this case, for this year's nomination, is 2025, isn't it?
Yes.
And so although you're nominating, the deadline is the end of November.
Yeah.
So this is something people need to take action on quite quickly if they're listening.
That's it.
For this year. If they're looking to the future, then it would be whatever somebody had achieved during 2026 for the 2027 award. So we're currently in the 2025 year, and the award ceremony will be early in 2026 for that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, so that it's for work in 2025, but they'll be recognised in 2026. So it's a little bit confusing, but yeah, we find it's the best way to kind of, by closing in November, it gives people time to think back, okay, what has that pretty much full year looked like? And obviously if there are things that happened in the sort of few months previously as well, obviously we don't go, oh, that happened in November 2024, we can't consider it. We absolutely do. But it is just worth trying to think, what have they done in that year that maybe you think, this is why I haven't nominated them before, but actually this year's been particularly exceptional.
Oh, there's a culmination of things. Perhaps they started 5 years ago, but you've just looked back now saying what a great job they did of that whole project or that whole initiative, whatever it was.
That's it.
Brilliant. Okay, well, you've already touched on who decides on the winners, and then obviously there's the national celebration, which is everybody can watch online. Tell us a bit about that.
So the national ceremony is a great event, and we love hosting it. We host it here at the NTC, and
that's the National Tennis Centre, isn't it?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Have it. But yeah, so we host it here, and for a lot of people that end up coming to that event, it's the first time they've ever been here, and actually to kind of experience what it's like to be here. Obviously our offices are based here, but obviously a lot of the as I sit here, the players are walking back and forth in front of me all the time, but it really is an amazing, inspiring place to be. So we love to be able to bring people here and sort of showcase the site and give people a tour. That's part of the sort of experience as well. So that ceremony sort of happens in mid to late April. And as I say, we sort of bring all of our national finalists here, and then we host an event sort of late afternoon, evening time. And Leon Smith, who is the sort of men's Davis Cup captain, he hosts in very much in partnership, or it doesn't host, he sort of presents and leads the day, but it's very much hosted by our LTA president, who for the last 3 years has obviously been Sandi Procter, and she is a huge advocate for the awards, has been an incredible support to us and to the awards. But we will have a sort of a couple of hour ceremony. We get some celebrity guests. We had some really exciting celebs involved last year who come and present the awards. And yeah, just you really use it as an opportunity to again to storytell and to sort of bring all these amazing people together, celebrate everybody. Obviously, we can only have one winner in every category, but we really try and create a really nice experience for everyone.
And you some of those awards you genuinely don't know whether you've won or not till that moment, do you? When they say the winner is,
that's it. It is very much Oscar style. Hopefully, with no blunders. We haven't had any blunders for the last couple of years, but yeah. So we try and keep it as quiet as possible. We don't announce the winners even to the counties. We keep it all completely embargoed until the night, which is really exciting. And there is a real buzz about the evening. Particularly for any young people that do come, because I think it's so exciting just to be part of that, and really inspiring to kind of get them on that journey as well. And thinking, actually, I look at all these people that are still involved in tennis from all different ages, all different backgrounds, all different parts of the country. I think it's really inspiring for them and for parents as well to see how much longevity there is in our sport, and what great opportunities there are outside of just playing the game as well.
I think it's one of the things that the LTA do incredibly well, Jess, and clearly you're very passionate about the awards. Well done to you for being involved for the last 3 years, and to everybody who's been involved in it. Is there anything else that we haven't covered that you think people should know about?
I don't think so. I think it would just be great. We love hearing nominations that come from parents. I think they are sometimes the most true to life. You know, they're really living in it. They're really in the moment, in the sport, right on the ground. So we'd just love to see some nominations, whether it's you know, you've got a young child yourself that actually you want to say thank you and well done to, or whether you've got a great coach or a really great club that you think have done a fantastic job and really nurture young people and create a really nice environment to enjoy the sport. It's also worth mentioning, we're really keen to sort of try and embed paddle as well as much as we can. And so if there's any, I know we're talking mostly about tennis, but we don't close the door on tennis. We really want paddle to be part of this as well. And I know some of our young people sort of starting to pick up a paddle racket as well. So it's a nice way to try and think as broadly as you can. It doesn't have to be super sort of results focused. There's loads of other aspects to our awards that whether it's just actually really enjoying the sport and not all about the results. So yeah, anything you can
showing gratitude is really important.
Yeah.
I think that in the world of tennis, sometimes we can become customers of the sport, but actually being members of the sport as well, and our children to be part of communities and to celebrate and to have gratitude in an authentic way for people that have helped them with their journey really helps them to progress as people as well as players. Yeah. Jess, thank you so much. It's been fascinating. I hope that we get some applications through from parents as a result of our chat today. And again, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. No, thank you for letting me share. And yeah, really grateful for anything that comes in from the parents. So yeah, thanks so much.
Cheerio now.